Hello guys and welcome back to another video about the NHL, the best hockey league in the world. I am here along with my new magnetic board or magnetic board as you call it in English, and it just arrived today, so we set it all up with my brother and with my father. I hope it would serve us as a channel really well in the next possibly years to come. So today we'll be covering the very interesting, and according to me and according to many others, the most interesting series of the play-in rounds. It may not seem so from the seeding because it's the 6th seeded Carolina Hurricanes playing the 11th seeded New York Rangers. So when you look at the 5 teams that are, or 4 teams that are between these two, you may argue or you may think that the gap between these two is pretty thick, but actually that's not the case. As you can see, Carolina finished the season with 81 points and New York Rangers finished the season, or basically when the season was stopped due to the coronavirus pause, New York Rangers had 79 points. So there is just 2 points difference, just one victory separating these two teams. So really it should be an interesting series and a very evenly matched, and it should be a great thing to watch. So first of all, which I didn't do in my previous previews, in Chicago against Edmonton and in Canadiens against Pittsburgh, I didn't put here the matchups or the games they played against this season, but as I have a lot bigger board right now, I could afford to write it down. So, this is a very interesting one. They are, of course, the division rivals, so they are playing 4 games against each other each season, and before the polls they managed to play all of these 4 games, but as you can see, all of these games were won by New York Rangers. So New York Rangers have a very good statistics against Carolina Hurricanes this season, and all of these games, I believe, were won in the regular time, so no overtime, no shootouts, a good regular time wins for New York Rangers. First match was played on the 8th of November 2019. Carolina at home lost to the New York Rangers 2-4. So a 4-2 victory for New York Rangers at PNC Arena. The second game was 20 days later. It was in the Madison Square Garden, and the Rangers beat the Carolina Hurricanes that time 3-2, so that was a really close game here. Then another game was played on 28th of December, and New York Rangers beat in that game Carolina 5-3, and the last match was played on 22nd of February, and New York Rangers won in Carolina 5-2. So this was quite a decisive victory for New York Rangers, and it's very interesting that New York Rangers was able to beat Carolina in all of these 4 games they played against each other this regular season. So this is a very interesting statistics. And right now, let's try to look at the best players and the special teams, goals scored, and quite closer statistics of the Carolina and New York Rangers. So first of all, let's go to Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina Hurricanes has 2 main goalies, James Reimer and Peter Mrazek. I think they are evenly matched. I don't know which of them will be playing in net this series, or who will be starting in net. James Reimer has currently a little bit better save percentage with 91.4, but Peter Mrazek, the Czech guy, also a solid one, 90.5%. I honestly think that Peter Mrazek would be the starter. We know that last year he did very well in the first round against Washington, and then of course he was injured in the series against New York Islanders, where the Carolina was eliminated, or not, they were not eliminated, of course, but Yeah, Mrazek is a solid one. And I think honestly that he would be the starter, but also James Reimer was playing well this season, and both these goalies are good ones. So I think yeah, Carolina has a good goaltending overall. When you look at point leaders is the Finnish player Sebastian Aho. Actually, the Carolina has the top two are the players from Finland, Aho and Teravainen, and the third is a player from Russia, a very young one, Andrei Svechnikov. So let's start with Sebastian Aho and his statistics as of this season: 38 goals, 28 assists, overall 66 points in the coronavirus shortened season. That's a very good overall record. When you look at Teravainen, he has 15 goals, 48 assists, 63 points. So Teravainen was playing also really well. And when I see the people talking about the Carolina Hurricanes, they mainly mention Sebastian Aho or potentially Andrei Svechnikov as the two, we can say, top stars or the faces of the organization. However, Teuvo Teravainen is quite a decent player as well, and he is being often overlooked by many people. And I think they don't pay enough attention to Teuvo Teravainen. I can understand it from the perspective of goals. Teravainen is not scoring many goals. Don't expect him to score many goals in this series against Rangers either. But 48 assists. He can find his guys very well. He has a great assist, a great vision, and yeah, he's just he's a terrific passer, and the passing play of Teravainen is on that highest level as it possibly can be. He's a very creative on the ice. He may not score that many goals as Sebastian Aho or Andrei Svechnikov, but he can basically provide for them many useful assists. And yeah, his chemistry with Sebastian Aho is very good. Of course, they are both from Finland, really close friends. So these two will be very dangerous, and New York Rangers players must pay attention to this Finnish duo. And then we have Andrei Svechnikov this season: 24 goals, 37 assists, a grand total of 61 points. Very solid for a young guy. Svechnikov has shown or has taken the next step this year. Of course, everyone was watching his highlight reel goals, his basically wraparounds around the net, the floorball style goals, and Svechnikov has that skill with the puck, and he has that shot as well. He can find his spot, he can shoot the puck, and he's a very talented guy, and I think that in the next days he will be one of the best players in the league, and I honestly think that he could take the spot after Alexander Ovechkin as the next big Russian superstar in the NHL. He has that skill, and I think that he has all he needs to be that next top player. And yeah, Ovechkin has a very good offspring, if we could say so, or a very good next player generation for Russia. Andrei Svechnikov, very talented one, and I really enjoy watching him on the ice. Top ice time for Carolina, not really surprised. Jacob Slavin, one of the best defenders in the whole NHL, and he was averaging this season 23 minutes and 24 seconds, so a very good statistics for him as well. When you look at the special teams are very solid for Carolina. Last time I spoke about NHL and about playing series, I was talking about Edmonton Oilers. Of course, Edmonton Oilers, they had just absolutely terrific statistics. First in the power play percentage, second in the penalty kill, but Carolina has very good as well, very good power play with 22.3% on the 8th spot, and a very good penalty kill as well, 80.4% 4th spot. So yeah, Carolina will be dangerous, and New York Rangers must pay a very close attention to the special teams of Carolina, because they could not only score goals on power plays, they could really well defend their own penalty kills. So they could really well defend in the four guys. For example, Sebastian Aho, who is playing on the power plays. He could also play penalty kills, so that's very useful, definitely as well. And when you look at overall goals scored, goals against, goals for, so Carolina has scored this season 222 goals, nice 3-2s next to each other, and goals against 193. Actually, the defense was quite solid for Carolina this season as well. The goal differential was of plus 29. So a very good overall season by Carolina Hurricanes and by the guys of Rod Brind'Amour. They will be definitely one of the favorites if they could move forward from this series against New York Rangers. It will be a tough one because right now, let's take a quick look on the New York Rangers. They have currently they finished with 79 points. As I have said, it's just two points less than Carolina did. They had 37 wins, 28 losses in regular time, and 5 losses after overtime or after shootout. So I went with 3 goalies. This is probably the only team that I will go and I will write 3 goalies, because New York Rangers did this season, especially in the second half, something we are not seeing really often nowadays. They went with 3 goalies, and what was really interesting was you probably would not think that this would happen like definitely 2 years ago or even a year before, but Henrik Lundqvist was often sitting, or actually he was not even nominated for the game because there were 2 young Russian superstars are coming up in New York. The 2 Russian goalies, Igor Shesterkin and Alexander Georgiev, and they just completely stole the show in Madison Square Garden, especially Igor Shesterkin. His play was just phenomenal, 93.2%. That's a decent save percentage. And when you look at Georgiev, 91%, very solid as well. A very solid all-around percentage. Henrik Lundqvist, 90.5, not bad. Not bad. And in the other teams, Lundqvist would have been probably the number 1 choice or number 2 definitely. Every team would take Lundqvist as a backup. I would imagine that, but he was in some games this season not even a backup, and that must be a very frustrating situation for Henrik Lundqvist. And I'm looking forward to see if this summer or this off season, so to call it, potentially Henrik Lundqvist will be traded, because I can imagine that he will be not satisfied with this position of the number 3 goaltender of his team. And you would think that he has not many years left in his hockey career. He definitely will have his jersey and his number retired in the Madison Square Garden by Rangers. But the question is, if he will go before the retirement somewhere else, it would be very difficult because he has a really close relationship with the whole New York Rangers organization. But the thing is that Georgiev and Shesterkin are playing really well, and they are very reliable. But what could play in favor of Henrik Lundqvist is the large and very big playoff experience. He has experienced many playoff games. He knows how to handle pressure, and he could teach those guys. Or potentially, when these young Russian fellows would not be able to handle that pressure in playoffs and would be prone to make some really soft mistakes, then Henrik Lundqvist could come into the scene and could potentially be the number 1 starting goaltender for Rangers in this series, or if they can move forward in the next series as well. So this may be the chance. This may be the chance for Henrik Lundqvist. These 2 young Russian goaltenders, very well. They played really well, but they don't have playoff experience on the NHL level, and Henrik Lundqvist has a lot of it. So that may be in favor of Henrik Lundqvist. Okay, let's move forward to the point leaders. Point leaders, of course, when we are talking about New York Rangers, we must talk about their acquisition from the summer of next season. Artemi Panarin, one of the best paid athletes in the NHL as of right now, but he has shown that he deserves all the money he is getting. This season, I would just remind you that it was shortened season. I think he played like 70 games or something like that. So he scored 32 goals. He had 63 assists, and that's a grand total of 95 points. 95 points. Artemi Panarin definitely his career year. And in many experts' list, he is one of the favorites to win the Hart Trophy this season. I would think that probably he will not win it. I think that Leon Draisaitl is the front runner for that, but Artemi Panarin and his season was clearly phenomenal as well. And Artemi Panarin showed his game in the next level, even from the last seasons in Columbus. He has improved a lot, and he has shown the fans in the Madison Square Garden what he can really provide, what he can do, and he was just very good this season. Mika Zibanejad, the Swedish guy, he scored 41 goals. Very, very good season by Mika Zibanejad, and I would say that before this season, he was not considered to be one of the best centers in the league. But after this season, you have to put him right on the top, because Mika Zibanejad has proved this season that he belongs to the top category of centers in the NHL. And Mika Zibanejad had also 34 assists, a grand total of 75 points. A pretty big gap if you consider that between Panarin and Zibanejad is 20 points. And when you look, for example, at Carolina, Teravainen has only 3 points less than Aho, and Svechnikov has only 5 points less than Aho. So these guys are pretty evenly matched, but when you look at the side of New York Rangers, Artemi Panarin is far ahead. And then when you actually look at Ryan Strome has 16 points less than Mika Zibanejad. So also this is a great gap. These two players, Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad, are clearly separated from everyone else, from New York Rangers, and it will highly depend on them if New York Rangers will be able to progress to the first round of the regular playoffs this year. So Ryan Strome, 18 goals, 41 assists, 59 points this season. He could thank Panarin for his point totals, because his chemistry with Artemi Panarin this season was very good. They could feel one another on the ice. They could predict where the other guy will be, and Panarin with Strome, they were playing really well. And I think that those two lines, basically, Panarin with Strome and Zibanejad with Chris Kreider, they could cause some damage to Carolina in this series. And when you look at those three guys, which I also find really interesting, is that Panarin had 95 points, clearly his career year. Zibanejad, 75 points, clearly his career year. And Ryan Strome, 59 points in the lockout shortened, or not lockout shortened season, but in the coronavirus shortened season. Clearly his career year. So all of these 3 point leaders for New York Rangers had their career years this season. So they are on their top level in their careers, I would imagine, and I would think so. So this may be the best time for New York Rangers to make some success in the playoffs, and I think they have a pretty good chance of making it. Then when you look at time on ice leaders, I had to write it 3 because I find this very interesting. Jacob Trouba, okay, the number 1 defender for New York Rangers, 22 minutes, 33 seconds, understandable, okay. But then you have Zibanejad with 21 minutes and 37 seconds, and Panarin with 20 minutes and 36 seconds. So you would imagine, and it's probable, that the team in the NHL has their defensemen, probably a top pair of defensemen at the top, and only then comes the top forwards. But with the New York Rangers, it's not the case. Zibanejad and Panarin are playing also a ton of minutes. They are on the ice very frequently, and they're actually playing over one period at a game. So this is very interesting. Panarin and Zibanejad David Quinn has a lot of confidence in them. He's sending them on the ice very often, and they are providing for him the points he needs. When we look at the special teams from New York Rangers, the power play is very good, 22.9%. The power play with Tony DeAngelo, with Artemi Panarin, with Mika Zibanejad, with Kaapo Kakko, with all of these talented guys is clipping very well, is working really well. But the problem comes with penalty kill. Penalty kill only 77.4%. That's only 23rd in the league. They have to improve this one because Carolina, when you look at it, 22.3%, quite solid power play as well. So they have to be able to defend that power play and they have to improve this penalty kill. Maybe this time, this training camps, this may be the biggest thing they should concentrate on the penalty kill. They should watch some power plays of Carolina from this season and concentrate on that. Try to make a plan what to do in these situations, and they should improve that penalty kill if they want to succeed. That's just a must. And when you look at goals differential, that's also very important, very interesting. Goals for 234. Carolina had 222. So obviously New York Rangers is scoring more goals, but goals against 222, Carolina 193. That's a differential of 29 goals. So Carolina conceded 29 goals less than New York Rangers. That's kind of a big difference when you look at a whole picture. So New York Rangers are very good in offense, but Carolina is actually as well. But New York Rangers have to improve their goals against. They cannot afford to allow that many goals, and they have to improve their defense. Like Jacob Trouba is there. They have also some other high quality defensemen. Like you have Tony DeAngelo, who's mostly offensive minded. Then you have also Adam Fox, a great rookie, and also some other solid guys in the defense like Brady Shea. But you have to improve that goals against. You have to. And when we look at the overall summary, players to watch. So players to watch, I've got 3 from Carolina and 3 from Rangers. So I picked Andrei Svechnikov, not a rookie potentially, but a very young player from Russia. And I think that he could be the X factor for Carolina. He could be the decisive factor. He has got a lot of energy. He's skating really well. He has got physical presence, and he has got a good mindset. He can score the goals. So I think that the overall performance of Andrei Svechnikov, of the Russian magician, would be very important for the team of Carolina. Then you have a Peter Mrazek here. I think that he could steal definitely this series if he will be at his highest level. He could make a really good save. So Peter Mrazek and his play, I'm looking forward to see what he can provide for Carolina this summer. And then we have Jacob Slavin, of course, the most important defenseman, has to be on the board for Carolina. Also his play in the defensive zone and his ability to defend Panarin and Zibanejad will be very important. Slavin has to concentrate on these two guys that are one of the best in the NHL, and it will be very hard for Slavin and for the whole defensive of Carolina, for the Dougie Hamilton and the other guys there. It would be very difficult for them to defend them, but they have to do their best. From the Rangers, which we don't have here, we don't have him written here, but I chose Kaapo Kakko. Kaapo Kakko, of course. I would say that it was expected that he would have more points, that he would basically score more goals, that he would show more potential. He was mostly playing in the third line, but he also had some time in the first power play unit. And I think that Kaapo Kakko, he's known for working really hard in the training. He was, I think, overseas in Finland, here in Europe, skating, improving his game, trying to improve his shooting, his overall performance. So I think that Kaapo Kakko could come in a very good shape and he could provide, I feel like this could be his series, that Kaapo Kakko could finally show us his talent, and I have no doubt that he has a lot of talent in him. Then I have here Igor Shesterkin. Igor Shesterkin, I could have gone with Henrik Lundqvist, because I think that his playoff experience could give him that advantage. But Igor Shesterkin, 93.2% save percentage, that's a very, very good one. And I think that Igor Shesterkin, if he will stand on his hat, that could be a very, very decisive factor as well. And Mika Zibanejad, I thought if I will go with Panarin or Zibanejad, but I decided to go with Mika Zibanejad. I think that if Zibanejad, he had a 5-goal night this season, if he has his night, and if he's feeling well, he has that great speed, he could protect the puck, he could shoot that puck, he could find other guys. I think that if Zibanejad would be at his best, he could be also one of the decisive factors for the New York Rangers and in their favor. And my tip, I'll take the marker here. My tip actually is, I feel like I actually like both of these teams. I'm wearing a New York Rangers hat, and I know I just put Nashville Predators t-shirt because I have just the t-shirt of the 5 NHL teams and I don't have Carolina or New York Rangers, so I decided to put Nashville. And I'm a fan of both of these teams, and I don't care who advanced to the next round. I really like both. I have my favorite. I'm cheering for Finland generally on the international stage, and Sebastian Aho is my favorite Finland player. And even when I played floorball, I had the number 20 on my jersey because of Sebastian Aho. But since the last year, when the New York Rangers drafted Kaapo Kakko, the next Finnish talent, I also like him, and I also started to cheer for New York Rangers also because they traded for Panarin, and I really found their games and their offensive mindset and offensive-minded game really exciting and attracting to watch. So I really like both of these teams. I won't be cheering for anybody. I would be happy either if Carolina wins or as well as if New York Rangers advances. But my tip, my personal prediction, I think that this will be a 5-game series because I think it will be really tight between these two teams. But I think that eventually New York Rangers will come up on the top. You can see that they have won all 4 matches against Carolina this season, and I think they would have an upper hand in this series eventually as well. Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin, and potentially Kaapo Kakko with Shesterkin in net. That's a very strong side. They had only 2 points less than Carolina, as I have said in the beginning, so it should be a very, very tight matchup. But I'm going with a New York Rangers win of 3-2. So New York Rangers will eventually advance to the next round, according to me. Thank you guys very much for watching. This is the end of this video. This is the end of the series preview of Carolina Hurricanes against New York Rangers. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please leave a like down below and also comment who you will be cheering for and who do you think will eventually win. Thank you guys very much for watching. Also, as you can mention in this video, there is no longer watermark of Power Director, which is the editing program I use in your screen. It should be all fine. I have the bigger board as well, so it should be visually more attracting. At least I hope so. Thank you guys once again very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. And I will see you and I will talk to you again probably tomorrow. Thank you guys once again. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye guys.